At a time when most of the smartphones launched in Nepal are focusing on the ergonomics, Coolpad has come up with a device that aims to fulfill the performance need of a user. The Coolpad CoolPlay 6 is the newest member of the Coolpad family that has dual cameras, a 6GB of RAM and a huge battery at helm. So do these features and the smartphone as a whole suffice the needs of the users? Let's find out in this full review. Before talking about any other aspect of the CoolPlay 6, let's jump right into the performance setting of the device. The Coolpad CoolPlay 6 houses a Qualcomm Snapdragon 653 chipset along with 6GB of RAM and Adreno 510 GPU. All these specifications do sound pleasing to the ear. And at a time when a couple of smartphones focus on advertising features that they can't accomplish in real life, the Coolpad CoolPlay 6 actually delivers what it promises. With the whopping 6GB of RAM and the octa-core CPU, the device never let me down. Never once did the Your App Has Crashed window pop up, nor were there stutters. However, I did notice a couple of rare lags while opening applications, but that lasted only a few milliseconds. This is clearly shown in the benchmark tests. The Coolpad CoolPlay 6 outperforms every other mid-range smartphone currently available in Nepal. Even though the device gave me unreliable results on Antutu that ranged all the way from 80K to 92K, it still scores higher than the Xiaomi Mi A1 and the Oppo F5, which are the nearest competitors of the CoolPlay 6. But one thing that bugged me a lot was the heating issue of the device. The CoolPlay 6 heated after 15 minutes of gaming, which is not that much of an issue but still is noticeable. This may be partly because of the processor at helm. Coolpad's newest smartphone could have done much better if it had featured a Snapdragon 636 chipset. The gaming performance this device showed was quite good. While playing mid-range to low-end games, the performance was commendable. Only at times with high-end games, there were minor, very minor lags. That happened only a few times and went unnoticed. The graphics while playing games looked very satisfying. Talking about the software, the Coolpad CoolPlay 6 runs on Android version 7.1.1 out of the box. The company had promised an Oreo update last December, but the update is still on beta testing right now. So, users who are after the software updates can rely on Coolpad to provide the device the Oreo upgrade. The user interface of the device is where Coolpad has improved, and that to a lot. Take the notification shade for an example. In last year's Cool 1, we had one of the captivative buttons to access the notification shade, but with the CoolPlay 6, everything seems to be normal and in place. So software-wise, the improved Journey UI is now better and much improved. The Coolpad CoolPlay 6 is a device enclosed in a metallic body. There is plastic border at the top and bottom on the rear side that helps with the antenna. And talking about the design, this device lacks a uniqueness as there is nothing new that we haven't seen. It looks like a design from last year. I must admit that the unibody design of Samsung Galaxy J7 Pro, Huawei Nova 2i and Mi A1 are superior compared to the CoolPlay 6. The dual camera at the back is accompanied by dual flash and a fingerprint scanner at the bottom. But still, the CoolPlay 6 feels premium on hands, but like every other metallic smartphone, I would suggest you case it up. At the front lies a 5.5-inch IPS LCD display that comes in traditional 16:9 aspect ratio. I would have really liked it if Coolpad had opted for the trendy near bezel-less display or with the 18:9 aspect ratio, but oh well. Viewing contents and playing games on this full HD display feel amazing, and there is even an option in the UI that lets users change the display calibration, which I think all smartphones should have. However, this display comes a little short of the Samsung Galaxy J7 Pro, which has a well-saturated Super AMOLED display. Backing up this 5.5-inch display is a 4000 mAh battery. In my usage, this battery really delivered. Under heavy usage, which included browsing through a list of applications, browsing through the internet, and playing a lot of games, I got around 5 to 5.5 hours of screen on time, which goes up to 6 hours if you are into normal usage. So basically, your device will not die for around a day and a half. One thing that really bugged me was the time this battery took to go from 0 to 100%. Even though Snapdragon 653 chipset supports Quick Charge 3.0, the Coolpad CoolPlay 6 lacks any quick charge support, as the device took me more than 2 hours to fully charge the device. For a battery-focused smartphone, Coolpad has sure fallen short, as lack of quick charge is a disappointment. Now onto the camera. Like with its predecessor Cool 1, there is a dual rear-facing camera setup on the CoolPlay 6. This setup is capable of taking pictures with shallow depth of field, which Coolpad calls SLR mode. And we compared this feature with the portrait mode of Xiaomi Mi A1 in bright lights. And while we have to say that the pictures from the CoolPlay 6 are great and nearly perfect for its price, the Mi A1 still comes out on top, as you can see from the samples. While most reviewers from other countries had slagged off the camera of the CoolPlay 6, I actually quite liked it. The color reproduction is quite good and there is ample saturation in the pictures. The smartphone does not expose images, which is quite nice, and the level of details is high as well. There is enough brightness and contrast in the pictures, and the detailing is quite good too. Talking about the dual cameras, the CoolPlay 6 needs a bit of improvement. It produces the blur quite well but somehow fails to focus the subject entirely. If we have a look at this picture, it is blurring the upper half, but in the lower half there is very less distinction between the blur and the subject. The portrait mode, I think, is better in the Mi A1. However, under night light the pictures are a bit noisy and there are grains here and there. But then again, the pictures are still pleasing to the eye, and the SLR mode in this light definitely is better than the one in the Mi A1. Talking about the selfies, the 8-megapixel front-facing camera is probably one of the best selfie cameras on a mid-range smartphone, as my selfies even were well detailed and sharpened under low light setting. And in broad daylight, the lenses do a good job to maintain the color accuracy of the pictures. Coolpad has launched the CoolPlay 6 after a year of launching the Cool 1. And with this smartphone, the company has high hopes of penetrating into the smartphone market. And I have to say that the CoolPlay 6 actually has the capacity to do that, as there were only a few departments I had complaints in. I won't be wrong if I say that the device is a powerhouse that suffices your day-to-day needs, be it camera-wise or performance-wise. Yes, the device heats up and it has an average design, but for a phone that costs 30,000, you can hardly complain. So that's all for the review. What do you think about the Coolpad CoolPlay 6? Let us know in the comment section below. I'm Pratima Adhikari and thank you for watching.